Hello, St. Lucia. Hello, and welcome to the Folk Research Center, which presents to you a Reading Month edition. Pretty much, how are you? Lend me an ear. Come closer as we take you on a journey into what makes us who we are. I am Catherine Isaac. Welcome to Vini Tann Sa. Sit back, listen, and enjoy.
This is an excerpt from An Incredible Story of the Worst Landslide Disaster in the History of St. Lucia, written by Leonard Lawrenson. For the entire story, visit us at the Folk Research Center, Banner Hill, Castries. According to Lionel, after the first landslide, there were a number of people who came from the other side of the Badlil to assist with the rescue effort. They brought with them different types of raw foods, including breadfruit, yam, salted meat, and other provisions to feed the rescuers. Men, as well as women, did the same type of manual labor. In most cases, the women did the cooking, applied natural bush medicine to those who were injured, and supplied whatever else needed to help provide relief and comfort to the bereaved. The men focused their energies primarily on the traumatic task of digging for survivors, burying and burning what they presumed to have been human remains. After hearing the news of the first landslide, Lionel's father, Estefan Lawrenson, was among those who rushed to Wavin Poisson, carrying a cluster of breadfruit upon his head. When he left his home, it was a late Monday morning, between the hours of 11 a.m. to 12 noon. A number of people, primarily members of his immediate family, accompanied him on his journey to provide comfort and support. They had no idea as to the severity of the first landslide and its death toll. Their journey began with a gradual and steady climb from the Mabuya Valley on the eastern side, moving westward. Their breathless ascent went through the steep, rough forest road that reluctantly led to its summit. As they got to the top and began its descent, their eyes were greeted by the sight of the first deadly landslide at Ravine Estrevis. It was this first landslide that had compelled them to make the desperate journey. They were shocked and dismayed by the wide open cavity and the indentation it left behind. Cascading downward, they followed the fresh footprints and tracks that were left behind by some of their family, friends, and neighbors. Those were indeed the fresh trails they followed that unfortunately led to their own doom. Added to this scene was the sight of a few tools that had been used and left behind by the victims. They were the telling signs which horrified their already bewildered minds. Terrified and overwhelmed with suspense, they hurriedly made their throbbing descent to the west side of the mountain. It was this precipitous, meandering path. As their voyage continued downward, they often had to go off the dangerous path. The odyssey required the cutting of tree branches while sliding through the residue of treacherous mud. These obstacles slowed down their journey, made the subprime road almost impassable. It was a tedious downward spiral that tested every shivering nerve in their bodies. They slipped and grabbed onto shrubs, hanging vines, and small trees as they made their way to the valley below. They moved as fast as the treacherous, winding, narrow road would allow them, until they finally made it to Ravine Poisson. As soon as they arrived, and even while catching their breath, they immediately engaged in searching for survivors. While they quickly made the attempt, they were then forced to assess the death toll trying to identify loved ones. In a matter of minutes, after the expeditious arrival, they too became unfortunate victims. It happened so fast that they could have counted themselves among the dead even before they themselves had died. Their doom was sealed by a roaring avalanche of mud coming from the west side of the mountain that came crashing and swept them all away.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to join us for another episode of Vini Tann Sa. Visit Folk Research Center's library at Barnard Hill Castries for more. Bonne journée!